What's going on, YouTube? This is Long Liver bringing you a fidget creation video today. What we have here is the two-legged Paracord Fidget Spinner. This thing is super easy to make and works pretty dang good and is a lot of fun to play with. Fidget spinners are the newest craze that everybody seems to be playing with, and this is just one of the many paracord designs that you can do. This project literally takes probably 2 minutes to make. It's not very difficult once you know what you're doing, and it's pretty easy to follow along. So if you want to know how to watch or how to make one of these things, continue watching. We're going to get right into it. Here we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you how to make this paracord fidget spinner. So what you're going to need for this project is, of course, you're going to need a bearing. This is a Reds bearing, in my opinion, one of the best bearings for fidget spinners. You're going to need roughly two 15 to 18 inch pieces, depending on how good you are when you tie these. You'll need about 15 inches, but just to be safe, work with about 18. You're going to need some kind of weights to put on the end. I have wing nuts and just regular nuts here. These will help make the fidget spinner spin longer. And of course, you're going to need a lighter and something to cut your cord. But to start out, we're going to work on one side of the fidget spinner first, and then we're going to work on the other arm of this two-armed fidget spinner. Find the center of your cord. Not that it truly matters at this point, but you'll want to remember that for later. Put your two ends together. We're going to start with a regular nut. You're going to slide this over the end. You might have to burn these points to these tips to a point, because when you melt them, they melt kind of square. But generally, you can just screw the nut right on to the cord, no problems. Once you get one on, then you're going to put your wing nut on. Yep, let's go ahead and burn these to a point. We'll just make it easier. There we go. And then screw on your wing nut, making sure that the wings face away from the center. So there's one arm. Go to the other end. We're going to do the exact same thing with this end. Go melt the ends, just to make them slightly pointy. Put on your regular nut first, and then your wing nut with the wings facing away from the center. All right, once you've done this, you can go ahead, kind of even them out, and this is where you want to find the center of your cord, because this is going to be where the fidget spinner, where the bearing is going to lie. If you have cord like this that lays kind of flat, make sure your flat sides are facing each other. Place your bearing in the center, just like so. So that's what you're going to end up with. So to start your tie, we can ignore the bearing for right now. You want about 6 inches. Excuse me. You're going to want about 6 to 8 inches on each ear here. And all you're going to do is you're going to do a simple, either a single Solomon or it's called a Cobra stitch. Basically, you're going to take your left cord, go under, take your right cord, go under the left cord, up and through the hole, just like so. And then pull this as tight as possible. The tighter this is, the better. Once you do this, you're going to do 4 more times, always starting with the left strand. So now now the left strand is on the right, under and that way, left strand underneath this one, up and through. You're going to do that total of 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and this will be 4. Any more and you risk the fidget spinner actually being too long. Take the cords, pull it tight. That will pull this part tight, and this will be nice and even. Go to the other side, and this is where it kind of gets tricky. What you want to do is you want to do this exact same pattern on the left side, the exact same amount of stitches, but that last stitch you want to be super tight against your bearing. So you might have to do this once or twice. Put your bearing in there. Guesstimation of how long this is going to be over here. I'm going to guess right about there. And then you're just going to do the same thing over. Left strand goes under. Right strand goes under the left strand that crossed under, over and through. Super tight. We might actually be pretty good. Strand under. This one under and over and through. We're going to do this 3 times. Now the tricky part. Nope, and I can already tell we're going to have to undo this and make it slightly longer. And this is the tricky part, like I keep saying, because you want that last stitch to be as tight as you can against the bearing. That's what's going to hold that bearing in. You can also go in and use like super glue, but I'm not a huge fan of doing that. Because if the bearing ever falls out, if it's in your pocket or whatever and it actually falls out, that can make it a little bit more difficult to get the bearing back in. Nobody wants to use super glue on a bearing. So we'll do it 3 times. There we go. Then we will try to fit the bearing in here. This one is going to, I think, work. Maybe. This might take you a couple of times. It's not an exact science. Nope, a little bit bigger. Let's try it again. One, 2, and 3. We slide the bearing in. All right, so we've done 5 on this side, and that's why we keep the extra cordage. That way we can do 5 on this side. Pull this as tight as you can. And I mean tight. So it's as tight as I can get it. We've scrunched it all up. And we're basically done. Now all you do, cut your ends. Like so. You're going to take your lighter, melt your ends down flat, on all 4. There you go. And that is your fidget spinner. It will get faster as you use it, as those balls inside there get better rounded, but balance is pretty good. When you make your own, it's never going to be perfect. This is not CNC'd. We do have a slight wobble in there. But this is basic fidget spinner made out of paracord. I have never wanted one that spins for longer than a minute or 2. I play with them. I don't sit there and go, okay, there you go. Now I got to wait for 5 minutes before I can flick it again. I like to play with it. I'm constantly messing with it, flicking it back and forth, and it works for me. But that is your basic fidget spinner. Links down below to the rest of my fidget spinner series. Social media is also down below. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Please check out my other videos. Subscribe, like, do everything y'all know how to do. And everybody, have a great day.